17 laps to go for Kyle Busch, driving a car that in the first 100 miles of this race, you see those brakes glowing cherry red. Said he had no brakes. He had a car that would not turn at all. Everything but the kitchen sink was wrong with that car in the first 100 miles. And now he's 3.5 seconds up on Carl Edwards.
Yeah, he's one of the few cars still can run a lap down in the 29s this deep into a run.
He's a, you know, if I were the crew chief, I'd say, look, dude, just trust me from now on, will you?
Yeah, because actually with 15 laps to go now and over a 3-second lead, I believe I would definitely take the advice of my spotter, Jeff Dickerson, and a little conservative here, especially maybe if they're close on fuel as well.
Close the deal. He's been doing a pretty darn good job of it. There's 48 dropping another spot.
Now Jeff Burton just kicked Jimmy Johnson out of the top 10, and he and Jamie McMurray now fight for 11th. And Kurt Busch coming back into that picture along with Martin Truex.
Haven't heard much about Kurt all night, but here he is. He's moved up into 13th spot.
You know, Darrell, he's going to get his best finish since the Daytona 500 if this keeps up.
That's amazing.
And the thing about Kurt Busch, we've been talking about all the drivers and teams make it, can't make it. Kurt Busch, the 2-car, Roy McCauley, or actually Pat Tryson, they came to pit road and topped off. That was one of the cars that did top off with fuel when we got the 1 to go.
13 laps left.
You know, it's been an interesting night though, with the track and the repaving and the way the cars have bounced off the wall, the different leaders we've had. It's been a really interesting night. Fun race to watch, and there's not been a lot of caution flags. A lot of green flag, hard racing.
And if you watch those 4 practice sessions, 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, I don't think we would have ever believed we would only had 8 cautions, and we would have 41 cars of the 43 still out on the racetrack now with 12 laps to go.
I mean, everybody was saying, oh, it's going to be a crash fest. It'll be yellow fever all night long, and we really haven't seen that.
But it was what we expected, and at the start of the race had a couple of cautions in quick succession. 8 cautions on the night, but 15 different leaders, 35 lead changes. And Krista, Kyle has now led 157 laps.
And Mike, they still think they're okay on fuel. They told Kyle, hey, just kind of roll with it just to be safe, but they think they're going to be 2 laps ahead. But they did say about 10 laps ago, hey, Kyle, I know you're trying to take care of that thing. Could you just take care of it a little more?
Yeah, I would say he could knock about another couple of tenths a lap at. I watched him. He got down to about a 30 flat, a 30-10. Last lap, 29.81. Picked back up 2 tenths.
And I noticed as he came down the straightaway there, Larry, Jeff was pointing out about his right rear tire sticking out from under the body. It's sticking way out there. He doesn't need to be getting that up against the wall anymore.
This is a battle for 4th right here between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that 88 car, looking back at the guy that's trying to reel him in, David Reagan, in that 6 car.
I tell you, Dale Jr. was so happy with his car all weekend long. I just thought he was going to have it's not a bad night. He's going to finish 4th or 5th here, but I thought he would be a little stronger than that.
And David Reagan is going to climb into the top dozen in the Sprint Cup standings tonight.
That's amazing. That's really exciting for him.
And there comes Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. Has had just a terrible weekend here. Qualified back in the 34th position, and right now he's got his sights set on maybe what might be only his 2nd top 5 of 2008.
And Larry, as I said earlier, if he's going to get back in the chase, if he's going to get in condition to get in the chase, he's going to have a lot of nights like this.
I think Jimmy Johnson in this 48, he's ready to see a checkered flag on this thing. He continues to slide backwards. Again, a backup car he's in. 2 crashes yesterday. 8 laps to go.
Last night on a late restart, fuel mileage was certainly an issue. One of the lead cars sputtered for lack of fuel and stacked the field up behind him.
And that was actually Martin driving for Junior Motorsports. Martin, we've not mentioned him tonight. Right now, he stayed on the lead lap of that 8 car back in the 15th position.
Yeah, and kind of interesting with Martin, he never has a problem with the car. He never tears one up. He tore one up in practice, and then, of course, it wasn't his fault. But on that restart, he got wiped out.
6 to go next time by for Kyle Busch.
He has about built his lead now to almost 4 seconds over Carl Edwards in the 99 car.
Team team cars here.
5th and 6th place, Reagan and Kenseth.
And they are right there on Dale Jr. too. They're closing up fast on him with that 41. Won't get out of the way. Jr.'s going to try to get by him on the inside here, looks like.
Five laps to go. Kyle Busch's night has read like a movie script. The car didn't have any brakes. The car wouldn't turn. He bounced it off the wall. They dropped a lug nut. They dropped another one. They dropped one and got penalized. They dropped another one and put it back on. Hollywood couldn't come up with a night like this for a race car driver, but here he is, overcoming the penalty and all. Kyle Busch back to the lead and pulling away.
You can't overcome talent. I mean, when you have the kind of talent this kid has, you just about got to take the car and lock it up in the garage to keep him from winning.
We've got 4 laps to go, about 3.5 laps to go for Kyle Busch.
I'm just hoping and praying that when he gets out of the car tonight, he'll have something nice to say, because his driving is impeccable. And when he gets out of the car, that's questionable.
You know, certainly it has paid off.
There's 3 right here.
It has certainly paid off for Rick Hendrick to get Dale Earnhardt Jr. over there in that camp. He has almost carried the Hendrick banner most of the year. But I said all along that whoever got Kyle Busch, that was going to be the real winner in all this trading of drivers headed into 2008. And he's not let me down. As right now, he's about 2.5 laps away from what will be his 3rd win of 2008.
If you can't learn something from Rick Hendrick and Joe Gibbs,
you 2 right here, bud.
you ain't never going to learn.
2 to go.
And Krista, it sounds like Kyle has been pretty silent on the radio these last 50 miles.
Yeah, I don't know if 500 miles here in Darlington, if he's lost his voice or what, but we have not heard from Kyle Busch. He has been very quiet and very consistent in that race car. I think he was just ready to get this thing over with and celebrate in victory lane.
I think, Krista, what happened to him, I think he did so much whining and complaining early in the race there that they just finally told him. They may have turned his radio off.
Oh, man, here it is.
White flag.
Easy, buddy, easy.
And remember, he came in here our points leader after finishing 2nd at Richmond. He'll certainly stretch that points lead out, because right now Jeff Burton in the 31 car is running back in the 10th position.
His
I can't tell you how proud of you guys I am.
His 4th try at Darlington. His 1st checkered flag. Kyle Busch wins the Dodge Challenger 500.
My goodness, who would have thunk it?
Carl Edwards comes home 2nd. Jeff Gordon is coming home 3rd. There you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4th. And how about that battle for 5th between teammates David Reagan and Matt Kenseth? Quite a battle down to the wire. There's the man of the hour right there. We just saw him. Kyle Busch in 18 gets a little thumbs up from Carl Edwards in the 99.
Thanks, Jeff. You're my hero, buddy.
Talking to a spotter there.
Great job, Wild Thing. Proud of
I think that name
Thank you,
didn't
bud.
stick.
I think we need to play that song when they introduce him next week for the All-Star race.
Yeah, like when Charlie Sheen would come out on the field in Major League.
This is typical Joe Gibbs right here. There he is right in the middle of them. He rallied his troops together there about halfway through the race. Great coach. Great coaches can get great people to do great things.
His 8th win of the year in a NASCAR National Touring Series. Kyle Busch will go to victory lane at Darlington. How about that?